The cursed cooking pot, a family devoured. In a quaint little village surrounded by rolling hills, Clara and Daniel had just begun their lives as a newly married couple. Their modest home was filled with hope and dreams of a bright future. Among the many wedding gifts they received, one stood out, a gleaming antique cooking pot gifted by Daniel's childhood friend, Lydia. "This belonged to my grandmother," Lydia said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "It always made the most amazing meals. I thought you two deserved it." The pot was unique, with intricate engravings of strange symbols along its edges. Clara found it odd but thanked Lydia. She couldn't know that the beautiful pot was a doorway to ruin. Clara used the pot to make their first meal together as a married couple, a simple stew. As the aroma filled the house, Daniel was drawn to the kitchen, his mouth watering. When they sat down to eat, he was amazed. "This is the best thing I have ever tasted," Daniel exclaimed, devouring the food. Clara laughed. "It's just my regular recipe. Maybe the pot really does work wonders." From that night on, Clara used the pot for every meal. The results were always extraordinary, but soon all things began to happen. When Clara cooked, the flames under the pot seemed to burn unnaturally bright. Sometimes she thought she heard faint whispers, like voices carried on the wind, but no one was there. Daniel dismissed her concerns. "You are overthinking it," he said. "It is just a pot." But the pot's behavior grew stranger. Leftovers finished overnight, and the more they ate from the pot, the hungrier they became. Daniel's appetite became insatiable. He demanded that Clara cook larger and larger meals. At night, Clara dreamed of shadowy figures lurking near the pot, their whispers growing louder. No matter how much food Clara prepared, there was never anything left at the end of the meal. It was as if the pot consumed whatever they didn't eat. One night, Clara decided to test her theory. She made a large pot of soup, intentionally leaving half untouched. The next morning, the pot was clean and empty, with no trace of the soup. Clara began to suspect something was wrong. A year later, Clara gave birth to twin boys, Isaac and Jonah. Though their life was harder with two mouths to feed, Clara loved her children fiercely. She continued using the pot, believing it would help stretch their meals. But as the children grew, Clara noticed changes. Isaac, the stronger of the twins, became lethargic and pale. Jonah cried constantly, his small body thin, despite eating as much as his parents. The boys rarely smiled, and Clara felt a heaviness in the house, as though something unseen was watching them. Daniel too began to change. He became irritable and possessive of the pot. If Clara suggested cooking with something else, he would fly into a rage. "We need the pot, Clara. Without it, we have nothing." Clara confided in her best friend Anna, who was intrigued by the mysterious pot. "It might be enchanted," Anna suggested, "but enchantment often comes with a price. You should be careful." Clara laughed nervously. "It's just a pot, Anna. How bad could it be?" But Anna was not convinced. She decided to research the strange symbols engraved on the pot. Days later, she returned with troubling news. These symbols on the pot are linked to an old legend. It said they belong to a spirit of gluttony, one that feeds on happiness and harmony in exchange for enhancing food. Clara's heart sank. "You mean it's cursed?" "Yes, Anna said gravely. The pot may be stealing more than just food. It might be feeding on your relationship. Desperate, Clara sought out Lydia to learn more about the pot. She found her in a small, run-down cottage on the edge of the village. The once confident Lydia looked gaunt, her eyes sunken and her movements jittery. "You figured it out, didn't you?" Lydia said, her voice bitter. "The pot isn't a gift, it's a curse." "Why would you give us something so dangerous?" Clara demanded. Lydia laughed hollowly. "That pot destroyed my family. My grandmother went mad. My parents divorced, and my siblings fell ill. It feeds on your happiness, your love, and your life force. I gave it to you because I was tired of carrying its burden." Clara's blood ran cold. "How do I stop it?" "You can't," Lydia said with a smirk. "The only way to break the curse is to destroy the pot, but it won't let you." Clara returned home, determined to stop using the pot, but when she refused to cook with it, Daniel became violent. "The pot makes everything better. You don't care about this family," he shouted. The house grew colder and darker. Isaac and Jonah's health deteriorated rapidly. They rarely moved, their once bright eyes now dull and lifeless. Clara tried to cook normal meals, but the family complained they tasted bland and unsatisfying. One night, Clara awoke to find Daniel standing in the kitchen holding the pot. He was whispering to it, his face lit with an unnatural glow. "What are you doing?" Clara cried. "It's speaking to me," Daniel said. "It says it can save us. All we have to do is to give it what it wants." Clara soon realized the pot was demanding more than food. It wanted her children. Whenever she used the pot, Isaac and Jonah grew weaker. Their laughter disappeared, replaced by vacant stares. Clara began hearing their voices in her nightmares, calling out her from the pot. One day, after cooking a meal, Clara found Isaac's favorite toy inside the pot, burned and unrecognizable. The whispers grew louder, and Clara understood the pot wasn't just feeding on food, it was feeding on her family's essence. Clara knew she had to act before she lost everything. She returned to Lydia's cottage only to find it abandoned. Villagers whispered that Lydia had vanished, her body never found. Some claimed the pot had claimed her as its final victim. Clara sought out the village elder, who revealed the truth. "The pot is bound to a spirit of gluttony," the elder explained. "It will consume everything you love until nothing is left. To destroy it, you must burn it in the fire of its own creation. But beware, it will fight back." Late one night, while Daniel was asleep, Clara took the pot to the backyard and built a roaring fire. As she placed the pot in the flames, it began to scream, a piercing, otherworldly wail that shook the ground. The fire fled violently, but Clara held her ground. The pot engravings glowed red hot, and shadows erupted from it, swirling around Clara like a storm. She heard Daniel's voice, her children's laughter, and Lydia's mocking laughter, all mixed together in a cacophony of torment. "Give it back," a voice roared. "You will regret this." With a final crack, the pot shattered, its pieces disintegrating into ashes. The screaming stopped, and the air grew still. The morning after, Daniel awoke as if from a long nightmare. He had Clara and the children, tears streaming down his face. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Isaac and Jonas had gradually returned, their laughter filling the house once more. But Lydia was never seen again. Some say her soul was trapped in the pot, while others believe she succumbed to its curse. Clara and Daniel learn to cherish the simple things, meals cooked without magic, love without shortcuts, and a home filled with laughter. The story of the cursed cooking pot became a cautionary tale in the village, a reminder that some gifts come with a price too high to pay. What would you do if you received a gift that seemed perfect but came with a sinister secret? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this story, please do not forget to like, subscribe and share, and stay tuned for more thrilling tales and cautionary legends that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.